Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at talacotuzumab
Talacotuzumab.
and
Yeah.
its potential in treating blood cancers.
Yeah.
So, um, for this one, we've got some great material from Assay Genie,
Okay.
and
SAGs.
you're a biotech company, right?
Yeah, you are.
Doing some really fascinating research in this area,
Mhm.
and they even offer a biosimilar product
Oh, wow.
for research purposes.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
our main source here is an article
Okay.
written by Shanza Riaz.
Shanzarias.
Yeah, she's a PhD student
Oh, cool.
specializing in genetics and computational biology.
Wow. That's impressive.
So let's break this down.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Um,
So to talacotuzumab.
so talacotuzumab represents a really focused approach to fighting cancer.
Okay.
It homes in on a very specific target
Okay.
found on some blood cancer cells.
So let's start with the basics. What is talacotuzumab? Talacotuzumab is what's known as a monoclonal antibody.
Okay.
Think of it like a guided missile,
Mm-hmm.
programmed to seek and bind to a specific target.
Oh, okay.
In this case, it targets a protein
Yeah.
called CD123.
CD123.
Yeah, which is found on certain blood cancer cells.
So unlike traditional chemotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
which can affect healthy cells,
Yeah.
talacotuzumab is more precise in its attack.
Right.
Could mean fewer side effects for patients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of the big hopes for this type of therapy.
Right.
By zeroing in on specific targets,
Mm-hmm.
we can potentially minimize the collateral damage to healthy cells.
Mm-hmm.
That often comes with traditional cancer treatments.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So how does it actually go about
So
destroying those targeted cancer cells?
it's actually really clever.
Okay.
Instead of directly killing the cancer cells itself,
Okay.
talacotuzumab acts as a sort of beacon for the body's own immune system.
Ah.
It binds to the CD123 protein
Yeah.
on the cancer cell, essentially tagging it for destruction.
So you're calling in reinforcements.
Exactly.
The antibody flags the enemy,
Right.
and the immune system swoops in to take them out.
Precisely.
Okay.
The immune system has its own arsenal of weapons,
Yeah.
including cells like natural killer cells and macrophages,
Wow.
which are specifically designed to eliminate threats like cancer cells.
Oh, okay.
Talacotuzumab essentially helps guide these immune cells to the right target.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So for someone following advancements in cancer research,
Mm-hmm.
why should they be particularly interested in this approach?
Well,
Yeah.
it represents a major shift in how we think about treating cancer,
Okay.
moving away from the carpet bomb approach
Okay.
of traditional chemotherapy
Yeah.
towards a more precise and targeted strategy.
Yeah.
And it's showing real promise.
So you're giving the immune system a boost,
Yes.
a targeted way to fight cancer cells without harming healthy cells.
And that's a big deal,
Yeah.
especially for patients who struggle with the harsh side effects of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Talacotuzumab offers hope for a more tolerable and potentially more effective treatment option.
So which cancers is talacotuzumab being researched for specifically?
Right now, the primary focus is on acute myeloid leukemia, or AML,
AML,
yes, and myelodysplastic syndrome,
myelodysplastic syndrome.
often called MDS.
MDS.
Both of these are serious blood cancers,
Right.
affect the bone marrow and blood cell production.
And while it's showing some promise, it's
Yeah.
not a guaranteed cure at this point.
That's important to remember.
Yeah.
Talacotuzumab is still in the research phase.
Okay.
Clinical trials are ongoing
Mm-hmm.
to evaluate its effectiveness and safety,
Right.
but it's not yet approved for widespread use in patients.
So there's still a lot more to learn,
Yeah,
but it's definitely an area worth keeping an eye on.
for sure.
Now, you mentioned that Assay Genie offers a biosimilar of talacotuzumab.
Right.
Could you explain what that means?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
A biosimilar
Yeah.
is essentially a generic version
Okay.
of a complex biologic drug
Mm-hmm.
like talacotuzumab.
Okay.
Biologic drugs are made from living cells,
Right.
so they're much more complicated to manufacture
Yeah.
than traditional chemical drugs.
Okay.
Biosimilars are designed to be highly similar to the original drug
Right.
in terms of structure and function,
Mm-hmm.
but they're typically more affordable to produce.
That sounds great for research.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More affordable access means more research can be done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Assay Genie's biosimilar is specifically designed for research purposes.
Okay.
This means scientists can use it to study how talacotuzumab works,
Mm-hmm.
its potential applications,
Okay.
and perhaps even find ways to make it even better.
Mm-hmm. So it's a stepping stone toward getting it to patients.
Yep.
eventually,
Yeah.
allowing for more research
Mm.
and ultimately faster advancements in this field.
Yeah. It's a crucial tool for driving innovation and discovery.
But it sounds like this research journey hasn't always been smooth sailing.
Yeah.
I understand some clinical trials
Right.
involving talacotuzumab were halted.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true.
Yeah.
Some trials had to be stopped due to concerns about safety and effectiveness.
Okay.
In some cases, it didn't demonstrate a significant benefit for patients.
Oh, wow.
And in others, there were worries about potentially serious side effects.
It's got to be disappointing
Yeah.
for researchers
It is?
and patients alike.
It is.
When a promising treatment encounters setbacks,
Yeah.
does this mean talacotuzumab is a dead end?
Not necessarily.
Eh.
These setbacks, while disappointing,
Yeah.
are actually quite common in drug development,
Right.
especially when dealing with complex diseases like cancer.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that these trials provide valuable information,
Mm-hmm.
can help researchers fine-tune their approach,
Yeah.
and potentially develop even better treatments in the future.
So,
So,
yeah. So even with those setbacks, research is ongoing.
yes.
What directions are scientists exploring now with talacotuzumab?
Well, they're looking at ways to improve both its effectiveness and safety.
Okay.
They are testing things like different dosages,
Mm-hmm.
combining it with other therapies,
Yeah.
or even modifying the antibody itself.
Wow.
The goal is to boost its ability to target cancer cells
Right.
while minimizing those potential side effects.
Okay, so let's go back to those biosimilars for a second.
Okay.
How does having access to a biosimilar like the one from Assay Genie help scientists studying talacotuzumab?
Well, it opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Yeah.
First of all, they can dig deeper into exactly how talacotuzumab works on a molecular level,
Okay.
how it binds to CD123, the pathways involved,
Mm-hmm.
what happens to the cancer cells as a result.
So it's like peeling back the layers of the onion. Yeah.
Getting a much more detailed understanding of the
Hmm.
mechanism of action.
Yeah. And they can also investigate potential combination therapies,
Okay.
seeing if talacotuzumab might work even better when paired with other drugs.
Yeah.
It's really about finding the optimal strategy for each patient. And biosimilars are a powerful tool for that kind of research.
That makes sense.
That's fair.
And you mentioned earlier that cancer cells can develop resistance to treatments.
Right.
Can biosimilars help with that challenge?
Absolutely. Cancer cells are very good at adapting and evolving.
Right.
So understanding how resistance develops is crucial.
Yeah.
Biosimilars are a valuable tool for studying these mechanisms,
Yeah.
identifying the vulnerabilities of resistant cells, and hopefully figuring out ways to overcome that resistance.
Okay, so with biosimilars,
Yeah.
scientists can delve deeper into these intricate details,
Mm-hmm.
explore different treatment avenues,
Yes,
and ultimately accelerate the progress of research.
that's right. They really are a game changer.
Yeah, especially in a field as complex and rapidly evolving as cancer research.
Now, you've explained what biosimilars are and their role in research,
Right.
but I'm curious about how they are actually made.
Okay.
It seems like a very complicated process.
It's definitely a sophisticated process
Yeah.
involving cutting-edge biotechnology.
Wow.
You're not dealing with simple chemicals here.
Okay.
You're working with living cells.
Right.
It starts with identifying the gene that codes for the talacotuzumab antibody.
Okay.
Then that gene is inserted into a host cell,
Mm-hmm.
like a bacterium or a yeast cell,
Okay.
which essentially turns it into a tiny factory for producing the antibody.
So you're giving the cell a blueprint
Right.
and saying, hey, build this specific protein.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And then those proteins are harvested, purified,
Mm-hmm.
and formulated into the final biosimilar product.
Okay.
There are rigorous quality control checks throughout the entire process to ensure the biosimilar is as close as possible to the original drug
Right.
in terms of structure, function, and safety.
I can only imagine the level of precision required for something like that.
Exactly.
It's not like baking a cake where you can fudge the recipe a little bit.
And the stakes are much higher, of
Yeah.
course. We're talking about medications that can potentially save lives.
Right.
So regulatory agencies like the FDA have very strict criteria
Yeah.
that biosimilars must meet before they could be used in research or clinical trials.
Now, earlier we touched on the fact that some of the talacotuzumab trials were halted
Right.
due to concerns about potential side effects.
Yeah,
Can you talk a little bit more about those risks?
of course.
Yeah.
Like any drug, talacotuzumab is not without risks.
Okay.
Some of the side effects observed in trials include things like fever, chills, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting.
Those sound pretty uncomfortable.
Yes, they can be difficult for patients to manage.
Yeah.
And in some cases, more serious side effects have been reported,
Hmm.
such as liver problems and lung issues.
Oh, wow.
There's also been a very rare but serious brain infection called PML,
PML.
reported in some patients.
So even with targeted therapies, there's always that balance between potential benefits and risks.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's why ongoing research and vigilant monitoring are so critical. Researchers need to understand the full range of potential side effects
Right.
and develop strategies to mitigate those risks as much as possible.
It highlights the complexities of developing new treatments.
Yeah.
And emphasizes that patient safety must always be a top priority.
Absolutely. That's a fundamental principle of medical research,
Yeah.
and especially when dealing with potentially life-threatening diseases like cancer.
You mentioned earlier that talacotuzumab is primarily being studied for AML and MDS.
Yeah,
Can you tell our listener a little bit more about those conditions?
of course.
Yeah.
Both AML and MDS are types of blood cancer
Okay.
that originate in the bone marrow, where blood cells are made.
All right.
In AML, immature white blood cells,
Yeah.
called blasts, multiply rapidly and crowd out healthy blood cells,
Oh, wow.
leading to problems like infections, anemia, and bleeding.
Okay.
MDS is a group of disorders where the bone marrow doesn't produce enough healthy blood cells, and in some cases, it can progress to AML.
So they are very serious and potentially life-threatening conditions.
They are.
Yeah.
And that's why there is such a need for new and better treatment options.
Right.
Talacotuzumab is one of several promising new therapies being investigated, but it's important to remember that it's still in the early stages of development.
So for our listener who's learning about this for the first time,
Right.
what would you say are the most important takeaways about talacotuzumab?
I think the key takeaway is that it's a promising but still experimental
Right.
targeted therapy for certain types of blood cancer.
Okay.
It works by harnessing the body's own immune system to attack cancer cells, which offers the potential for fewer side effects than traditional chemotherapy.
That's an important distinction.
Yeah.
It's not just about killing cancer cells.
Right.
It's about doing it in a way that minimizes harm to healthy cells.
Exactly.
No.
However, the research journey hasn't been without its challenges.
Right.
Some clinical trials have been halted due to concerns about safety and efficacy,
Yeah.
but ongoing research is focused on improving the treatment's effectiveness and reducing potential side effects.
So it's still a work in progress.
Yeah.
But with the potential to make a real difference for patients with AML and MDS in the future.
Precisely. And the use of biosimilars in research is helping accelerate the pace of discovery, bringing us closer to that goal.
And for someone who's interested in keeping up with the latest advancements in cancer research, what should they be paying attention to when it comes to talacotuzumab?
Well, I think it's important to keep an eye on the results of ongoing clinical trials.
Okay.
Those results will give us a much better understanding of the treatment's true potential, both in terms of its effectiveness and safety.
So we need more data to really know where this treatment fits in the overall landscape of cancer care.
That's right. And it's also important to stay informed about any new developments in the field of targeted therapies and biosimilars.
Yeah.
This is a rapidly evolving area of research,
Right.
and new discoveries are being made all the time.
Yeah. It really is amazing to think about how rapidly this field is advancing.
It is.
And how much potential there is for new treatments.
Right.
Like talacotuzumab.
Yeah.
To make a real impact on people's lives.
Yeah, it really is an exciting time
Yeah.
to be involved in cancer research. We're seeing a shift from the traditional one-size-fits-all approach to treatment
Right.
towards more personalized therapies.
Yeah.
And talacotuzumab is a great example of that.
We talked earlier about how talacotuzumab targets a specific protein on cancer cells.
Right.
So instead of attacking all cells indiscriminately,
Yeah.
it focuses on their specific markers.
Which could mean fewer side effects for patients.
Exactly. That's what personalized medicine is all about.
Right.
Tailoring treatment to an individual's unique cancer.
Yeah.
Imagine a future
Yeah.
where we can analyze a patient's tumor,
Okay.
identify its specific vulnerabilities, and then develop a treatment plan that precisely targets those weaknesses.
Wow. So it's like creating a custom-designed weapon to fight each individual's cancer.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And talacotuzumab, with its targeted approach,
Yeah.
represents a step in that direction. It's part of a wave of innovation
Right.
that's transforming the way we think about and treat cancer.
So it's not just about this one drug.
Right.
It's about a whole new paradigm in cancer treatment.
Precisely. And this raises an interesting question
Okay.
for our listener to consider.
Yeah.
What are the implications of this shift toward personalized medicine?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. How will it change the way we approach healthcare?
What challenges might we face in developing and delivering these highly individualized treatments?
Those are some big questions.
They are.
Yeah, it sounds like we're on the verge of a revolution in healthcare
Mm-hmm.
with incredible possibilities, but also potential complexities to navigate.
It's certainly a time of great change and opportunity.
Yeah.
As these personalized therapies become more common,
Right.
we'll need to adapt our healthcare systems and infrastructure
Yeah.
to accommodate this new way of thinking about treatment.
Right.
And of course, there will always be new ethical considerations to address
Yeah.
as we delve deeper into the realm of personalized medicine.
You're right. It's not just about the science.
Mhm.
It's about the people, the patients,
Right.
and ensuring that everyone has equitable access to these advancements.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time to be involved in this field.
Yeah.
But it's also a time for thoughtful reflection
Right.
and careful planning to ensure that these breakthroughs truly benefit all patients.
Well said. So to sum it all up for our listener,
Yeah.
Talacotuzumab is a promising
Mm-hmm.
but still experimental treatment for
Right.
certain types of blood cancer.
Yeah.
It represents a shift
Yes.
toward more personalized medicine
Mhm.
with the potential to target cancer cells more precisely
Right.
and minimize side effects. However, there have been setbacks in clinical trials
Mm-hmm.
highlighting the ongoing challenges
Yeah.
of developing safe and effective cancer treatments.
That's a great summary.
Right.
And it's important to remember that research is ongoing.
Right.
Scientists are working tirelessly to improve talacotuzumab effectiveness and safety.
Yeah.
And biosimilars, like the one offered by Assay are playing a key role in accelerating that research.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
Exploring the science, the potential, the challenges, and the future directions
Mm-hmm.
of talacotuzumab research. As someone who's clearly interested in staying informed about cutting-edge cancer treatments, what would you say is the most important thing for our listener to take away from this deep dive?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that the field of cancer research is constantly evolving.
Okay.
New discoveries are being made all the time.
Yeah.
And treatments like talacotuzumab offer hope for a future where cancer can be managed more effectively and with fewer side effects. Staying informed about these developments is key to understanding the evolving landscape of cancer care
Right.
and advocating for oneself or loved ones
Yeah.
facing this disease.
That's a great point. Knowledge is power,
Mhm.
and staying informed empowers us to make the best decisions for our health and well-being.
Exactly. And I want to commend our listener for taking the initiative to learn more about this complex topic.
Yeah.
Your curiosity and willingness to delve into the intricacies of cancer research is inspiring.
Well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me on this fascinating journey of discovery.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
The pleasure was all mine. And to our listener,
Yeah.
thank you for your time and attention. We hope you found this deep dive informative and engaging.
And remember, stay curious and keep exploring.